The sun beat down on the dusty streets of Nairobi as Amina wrapped her threadbare shawl tightly around her shoulders, shielding her infant son Musa from the wind. His tiny arms clung to her neck, his face pale and tired. His stomach had not known fullness in days, and Amina's own hunger gnawed at her like a wild dog. Yet it was not hunger that pained her most, but the ache of helplessness, the guilt of not being able to feed the only joy in her life. Once she had a small kiosk near the bus station, selling chapatis and chai to early morning travelers. She wasn't rich, but she was proud and earned enough to send Musa to school and buy him the occasional treat. But when a fire swept through the market, her kiosk was among the dozens that were reduced to ash. The flames took her livelihood, and soon after the landlord took her home, Amina found herself on the streets, her few belongings stuffed in a worn-out bag, and Musa asking why they couldn't go home. She tried everything. She washed clothes for strangers, she begged at Matatus, she even offered to clean shops, but no one trusted a homeless woman with a child on her back. The city that once gave her dreams now looked down at her, as if she were nothing more than a stain on the sidewalk. Each day, she walked from one end of the city to another, stopping at restaurants, hoping for a plate of leftovers. Sometimes she was lucky, most times she was not. It was on a chilly Friday evening when she found herself outside the gates of a newly opened luxury hotel. The smell of grilled meat and fresh bread wafted through the air, and her stomach growled. In response, she stood at the side entrance, her eyes fixed on the dumpsters, hoping that maybe, just maybe, someone would toss something out that hadn't been touched. She hated this. She hated what her life had become. A black SUV with tinted windows rolled up to the curb, and out stepped a tall man dressed in a crisp white shirt and designer shoes. He had the air of someone important, the kind Amina had never spoken to. She lowered her eyes, hoping to stay invisible, but to her shock, the man noticed her. He paused for a moment, studying her and the child in her arms. He spoke with a soft, calm voice. "Are you okay? Do you need something?" Amina hesitated, unsure of what to say. Her pride wrestled with her desperation. Finally, she whispered, "Please, sir, I am not asking for money, just if there is any food left, I can take it for my son." The man looked at her, then looked at Musa, whose cheeks were hollow, whose eyes had stopped sparkling long ago. He didn't speak immediately. Instead, he pulled out his phone and said something quickly into it. Moments later, a staff member rushed out, and the man instructed him quietly. Amina couldn't hear what he said, but the staff member nodded and went back inside. The man turned to her again. "Come with me," he said. Amina stepped back, afraid. She didn't trust strangers, especially wealthy ones. They always wanted something, but his eyes were not cold, they were kind. She followed him hesitantly into the side entrance and down a hallway leading into the hotel's kitchen. The kitchen was large, filled with heat and noise and shining metal. Everywhere chefs were preparing dishes and waiters moved in haste, but when Amina entered with the man, the noise seemed to pause. Every head turned, eyes widened in surprise. The man spoke to the head chef. "Bring her something hot and fresh, not leftovers, a proper meal." The chef nodded immediately, and within minutes a plate of rice beef stew and steamed vegetables was placed before her, along with a warm cup of milk for Musa. Her hands trembled as she reached for the spoon. She hadn't eaten a real meal in days. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she quickly wiped them away. Musa ate greedily, a small smile spreading across his face. Amina couldn't stop thanking the man, but he simply smiled and said, "No need to thank me. A child should never go hungry." After they finished, the man handed her a small envelope. Inside was not just money, but a business card with his name, Victor Owino, founder, Owino Holdings. She had heard that name before. A billionaire investor with roots in Kenya, known for building tech companies and luxury hotels across the continent, but never did she imagine he would notice someone like her. Victor said to her, "I want to hear your story. Come see me on Monday. Bring your ideas." Still overwhelmed, Amina nodded, unsure if she was dreaming. When Monday came, she wore the only decent clothes she had left, a faded dress and a scarf. Victor's office was nothing like the streets she slept on. It was clean, elegant, filled with photos of Victor standing with presidents and world leaders. But when she walked in, he rose from his chair as if she were just as important. They talked for over an hour. Amina told him everything about her kiosk, the recipes, her dreams, the fire. He listened without interrupting. Then he made her an offer. He would give her a small space near one of his malls, rent free for 6 months, and the capital to start again. "I believe in investing in people, not just numbers." He said, "You had something before." And I see that you still do. With shaking hands, she accepted, and within weeks, her new kiosk opened. It wasn't big, but it was hers. The smell of fresh chapatis once again filled the air, and customers returned one by one. She hired 2 women from the streets to help her, and even began saving for Musa's future. Months passed, and her business grew. She named it Musa's Kitchen and Victor became her mentor, guiding her with business advice and checking in often. Word spread across the city, not just about the food, but about the kindness of the billionaire who saw a homeless mother and chose to help rather than walk away. People began talking, sharing the story on radios, newspapers, and even online. Amina never sought fame, but her journey inspired many who had lost hope. Years later, Amina now owned 3 small shops, each managed by women who once stood where she had. She started a foundation that helped single mothers rebuild their lives, offering them training, meals, and shelter. And every Friday, she made sure to deliver hot meals to the same streets where she once begged, because she knew the pain of hunger, the sting of being ignored, the fear of being forgotten. Victor and Amina remained close friends, bound not by wealth or business, but by a moment of compassion that changed everything. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Your support means the world to us.